Hi parents. So today I wanted to talk to you about the brain and what is happening in the brain when it feels like our kiddos are not listening to us, right? And it happens to all brains. And I want to explain it to you in a very simple way so that you can understand and hopefully remember, as well as teach your kiddos what is happening in their body so they can communicate it as well. It's based on Dr. Dan Siegel's hand model of the brain. And so this is your spinal cord. And this is where your brain stem enters, and this is the center for fight, flight, right? We have to defend ourselves or get ourselves out of there. Fawning, which is people pleasing, right? Trying to do whatever it takes to not have conflict, and freeze. And so sometimes when our kiddos are frozen, it looks like they're not listening to us. And it's part of this process, okay? Then we go up to the amygdala, and this is the emotional part of your brain, right? This is where you get flooded with emotions, and I'll show you now what happens next. And then the prefrontal cortex, which is this part of your brain, which is all our reasoning, problem solving, all that happens here. And that part of the brain, believe it or not, is not even fully developed until about the age of 25, give or take a few years. So when our child is having a hard time, they're borrowing our prefrontal cortex, right? Our center of calm, which is, I'm going to show you now how it works so that they can calm. That's why it's so important for us to focus on ourselves in these moments of difficulty, okay? And so what happens in the prefrontal cortex is something called, that Dr. Dan Siegel calls flipping your lid, right? It's like a computer. When it goes offline, if you can't connect back online, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere on the internet. And so it's the same thing. When that part of our brain is flipped, the lid is flipped, and happens to us too, that means that we are either in our emotional, right, being flooded by emotion, just really feeling everything, or we're in that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. And the only way to bring our prefrontal cortex back online so that we can calm and then learn and process and listen and problem solve, right? To do all of that good stuff. Our prefrontal cortex, our lid has to be back online. It has to be down. It can't be flipped. And so how do we do that? Through self-regulation or co-regulation, calming of the nervous system. And that looks different for everybody. So it could be breathing, definitely breathing, which you always have with you, and making your exhale a little bit longer is extremely helpful to give your body that sense that, oh, everything is okay here. We're calm, we're safe. We don't need to be on hypervigilance and alert for everything that's happening around us at this moment. We're safe. And putting your hand on your heart, for some people it's stillness, for some people it's movement. You have to play around and see what works for you and make a list. And then help your child figure out what works for their body and help them make a list. So explaining to your child, this concept of flipping your lid, you're being flooded with emotions, and talk about what that feels like. Your body gets hot, your jaw gets tense, you start sweating, right? Different bodies, different things happen. So you have to talk about what are the possibilities so that they get to know what those emotions actually feel like in the body. And then help them notice, oh, you know what? I think I flipped my lid, right? And we're going to have to do that at first. We're going to have to point that out at first. And doing it by modeling it in ourselves, like, ooh, my body's feeling really hot right now and really tense, and I think I'm about to flip my lid. I'm going to take a few deep breaths. I'm going to, find my stillness, find my center, and bring my lid back online so that then we can problem solve whatever's happening here and look at it from a different